All right, guys, for those of you that slice and struggle for distance in your golf swings, you're going to want to pay attention to this video. I'm going to talk about two incredibly important things the wrists have to do in the golf swing in order to create speed with a lot less effort. Those two things are supination and pronation. I'm going to talk about the difference between the two. I'm going to give you some really good drills to establish some new feels that you've never had before, that if you take to the golf course are going to make a world of difference. But before we get started, if you've not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and press that subscribe button. There's a bell button next door. Click on that. You get a notification every time I release a new video. My name is Andrew Emery. Welcome to my channel. For those of you that have not visited my channel before, I talk a lot about how to articulate the wrists in the golf swing and swing the arms freely. I think there's a lot of coaching out there that talks about how to use the body. Of course, the body plays a very important role in supporting and, of course, transporting the arms in the golf swing. However, guys, it's not what creates the majority of the speed in the golf swing. Majority of the speed in the golf swing comes from, of course, the hands and the arms. And for 85% of you that slice, unfortunately, you're not tapping into that speed. And that's what we're going to discuss today. So let's talk about supination and pronation for a minute. We're going to talk about the left hand just to keep things real simple. Guys, palm up is supination, okay? Palm down is pronation. So there's a big difference, obviously, between pronation and supination. And both of these things are actually going to be happening if you want to hit the golf ball extremely well. There's no question about it. Unfortunately, most golfers are getting these things mixed up when they strike a golf ball. They're not supinating with their lead hand when they hit the golf ball. They're pronating. They're moving their wrists the wrong way, essentially. So I'm going to give you an awesome drill that's going to give you this feeling, okay? So if I take my left hand here and kind of set it up at an angle at about 90 degrees, and I start to just move my arm up and down just like this, okay, because the arms, of course, are going to extend as you strike a golf ball. If I do that, okay, and I turn my palm towards me, as I do that, I'm supinating, okay? I'm also rotating my forearm as I do that, okay? So this motion here is going to be extremely important, especially as we strike a golf ball. You can see it's obviously on an incline tilt. It's not the same, but it's the same feeling that I have, okay, just on a different orbit, okay? So that's the feeling we want to have as we come into the golf ball. You can see what I'm doing here is I'm rotating my forearms down towards the golf ball. The back of my left hand, when I strike the golf ball, the palm is almost facing me, okay? So many of you, unfortunately, are doing the opposite, where you'd be looking at the back of your left hand, you're not looking at the palm of your left hand. That's extremely important, guys. So if I take out my trail hand, of course, it's going to do the opposite. If I'm looking at the palm of my left hand, I want to look at the back of my right hand. I'm pronating my trail hand. So I'm going to be palm down, not palm up, okay? So if I do the same thing, sort of a karate chop towards you, just like this, but I turn my palm towards you, this is the sort of feeling I have with my trail arm, okay? Obviously on a different orbit. As I come into impact, I'm combining that with some rotation. I'm combining that with some pressure shift to my lead side. There's no question there are other things obviously involved, but if you look at my trail hand as I come into impact, I'm going to go ahead and allow my trail arm to start to straighten here. A lot of you get very narrow and pinched as you start your downswing. Then you got to dump the club right at the last minute. So I'm going to allow my trail arm to start to straighten. My palm is going to start to point down, guys. I'm pronating my trail wrist here, okay? And then as I swing through the golf ball, that's kind of my karate chop, if you like. So at impact and just post-impact, I'm now looking at the back of my trail hand, just like I was when I did the drill right here. I'm looking at the back of my trail hand, which is incredibly important. So this is going to make a world of difference to your ball striking, guys, because what I see with most golfers is that they're not able to sort of disassociate these feels from the rotation in their body. So there tends to be kind of a spinning motion with the body, and there's a lot of misconceptions out there where the more I turn my body and the faster I turn my body, you know, the quicker the club head is going to move, and that's just not the case, unfortunately. Hands and arms control, you know, the rotation in the golf swing. There's no question the body, as I said to you before, plays a part, but if you can just educate yourselves, guys, to feel supination with the left hand, which again is palm up. You can see my palm is pointing up towards me. And pronation with my trail hand, which is palm down. You're going to hit the ball incredibly well. There's no question about this. I'm going to move back just a little bit. I've got my pool noodle out in front of me because I don't want to drag the club to the left, of course. That's what most of you are doing. But I'm going to go ahead and work on these feels. Both hands together. So if you can picture, if I had both hands together, I was doing my karate chop here, okay, my elbows would remain fairly close together. I wouldn't want to do the splits here. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to supinate my left wrist, I'm going to pronate my right wrist, and I'm going to have a little twisting motion with both hands towards you. Okay, little different angle. All right, so this is a very interesting drill. There's no question in my mind. That's the feeling I have down here as I strike a golf ball. Again, it's on a different plane, guys. This is a much more horizontal plane. Obviously, this would be vertical. Okay? And we're playing golf 45 to 60 degree angle and an incline tilt. So we're going to swing on an incline tilt. Okay? But again, I'm feeling a twisting motion with both forearms, which is squaring the club face up. In many respects, that is also negating some loft, which you say, well, maybe that's not a good thing. But if you can turn your 8-iron into a 7-iron with a lot of speed, you're going to hit the ball a lot further. Unfortunately, most of you are turning your 8-irons into 9-irons. That's the problem as we come into impact. Your lead wrist isn't supinating, it's pronating. Okay, you've got palm down with your left hand. You've got palm up with your right hand. You've got this look. Recognize that? Club face is wide open. Chicken wing with the left arm. Again, left palm down, right palm up. Produces all sorts of terrible results. Swinging across the golf ball, kind of holding the face open. You've got no club head speed when you do that. So I'm going to work on those two feels independently initially. Okay, I can start to feel my knuckles rotating down. You can see the club face, the toe of the club is turning down a lot earlier, so I'm not in a hurry to do it at the very last second. I'm going to do it very gradually, but as I swing through, guys, again, it's palm up. The back of my left hand is feeling like it's pointing down. My trail hand, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start to turn my trail hand down, pronating, guys, my trail wrist, okay? Getting the palm down, okay? As I swing through the golf ball, I can look down at the back of my trail hand. You do those two things together, you got yourself a release. It'll make a world of difference, okay? All right, so that's a little low draw, which is exactly what I expected for that little shot, okay? Now, it's not that I'm not using my body. I want you to understand that, okay? I can't get my arms swinging forward without rotating my body. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to do that one more time. Really happy with that. So that's the concept I want you guys to grasp today, guys. We've got to make sure we understand how to pronate. We know how to supinate. We've got to use these drills, in a sense, without a club initially to develop some feels for what our wrists and forearms are doing. When we put our hands on the golf club, the tool that's designed to release for you, the toe of the club is lighter than the heel. It wants to rotate, believe me, is going to do the job if you allow it to do the job, okay? If you're spinning your body and dragging the golf club forward, chicken wing in your left arm, you're not going to get into an impact position that's going to allow you to create any speed whatsoever. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do my little hitchhiker drill that I love to talk about. And I'm going to grab a training aid here that I've had for years. It's called a swing guide. I'm sure you've seen this before. Tremendous drill for really getting the golf club hinging and unhinging and rehinging in the golf swing. Most of you are not rehinging. Unfortunately, you're dragging the club around the corner here. You're not really sending your speed home. But I can apply those same principles we just discussed, half back and half through. Initially, I'm really not setting the swing guide into my wrist here. What I'm doing is just making sure that my lead wrist is turning down this way. I've got the supination in my lead wrist. I've got the pronation in my trail wrist. Toe of the club's turning back towards the golf ball. Here's my impact position. But what you're going to see here post-impact is that I'm going to start to allow my wrist to rehinge. All right, so I've got this nice sort of reverse L that's formed between my left arm and the shaft post-impact. Conversely, on the backswing, what I want to make sure I do is by the time my lead arm's getting parallel with the ground, I'm going to go ahead and hinge back into the swing guide on this side of my body as well. So all of a sudden, I've got this nice little leverage system here, you know, where I'm using my hands and arms the correct way. My wrists are working correctly. My arms are working forward, guys, okay, towards the target. And then I'm rotating the golf club correctly and rehinging it on the opposite side of my body. Once you start to develop that little motion, such a simple little motion, I'm going to go ahead and set my wrist back here, go ahead and rehinge. And you can see it's coming out through my lead shoulder there. All right, that was really good, okay. Then you can start to go ahead and feel like your arms are employing your body. Until you develop this motion, guys, and you learn to square it up consistently using your hands and arms, trying to tie your arms to your body and spin your way to more speed is just not going to be the way to go. I can assure you, the faster you try and move your body, the more you're going to miss to the right, the worse you're going to slice, the shorter you're going to hit it. So I hope that helps, guys. Just very, very simple stuff. In summary, little karate chop drills, okay? So we're going to go left hand first. Remember, as the arm comes down, we turn the palm towards us. All right, we're going to do the trail hand as the arm comes down. Palm's going to be away from us. Both hands together. Okay? And then you can imagine, obviously, doing all that incline tilt. I'm going to feel exactly the same thing. Look at my wrist working this way towards the golf ball, guys. Palm up, supinating here. Palm down, pronating here. When I swing through the golf ball, my arms work forward, okay? As I strike the ball, I'm looking at the palm of my left hand. I'm looking at the back of my trail hand. What we don't want, guys, is the opposite. This is what most of you, unfortunately, are doing. Work on training this in your golf swing. It's going to make an extraordinary difference. I promise you. You're going to go from hitting short shots to the right to nice little stinger draws. Get after it. We'll talk to you soon.